On Monday, a Florida judge appointed by Donald Trump threw out one of the criminal cases against him. The case was about charges that he mishandled top-secret papers. The prosecution plans to appeal this decision. The dismissal was a huge win for Trump because it took away a big legal threat against the former president. He now faces other criminal cases that he says should also be thrown out. The court's ruling made Trump's seemingly unstoppable rise even stronger on the first day of the Republican National Convention, where he became the party's official nominee to run against President Joe Biden. This happened just a few days after he narrowly avoided being killed. Aileen Cannon, the judge, said that special counsel Jack Smith, who brought the charges, was chosen illegally, so the case should be thrown out. Biden chose Merrick Garland as Attorney General in 2022, and he put Smith in charge of looking into how Trump handled classified papers after he left office and his attempts to change the results of the 2020 election. Peter Carr, a spokesman for Smith's office, said that the prosecutor was allowed to appeal Cannon's ruling by the Supreme Court. The dismissal of the case deviates from the uniform conclusion of all previous courts to have considered the issue that the Attorney General is statutorily authorized to appoint a special counsel, Carr wrote in a statement. The judge that Trump chose made her decision after the 78-year-old's lawyers asked for a temporary halt in some processes so that a new Supreme Court decision could be studied. This decision says that a former president is generally immune from prosecution for actions he took while in office. Like a recent opinion from Clarence Thomas, one of the conservatives who control the Supreme Court, Cannon said that Smith's appointment and funding took away from Congress's job. The decision was 93 pages long. The court is convinced that Smith's prosecution of this action breaches two structural cornerstones of our constitutional scheme: the role of Congress in the appointment of constitutional officers and the role of Congress in authorizing expenditures by law, she told us. The judge wrote, "The clerk is told to close this case." Some people have said that Cannon was too slow to make a decision on the facts of the case because she didn't rule on it. The judge's decision came after Trump's victory at the Supreme Court earlier this month with the immunity ruling. That choice has helped Trump's plan to put off his trials until after the election in November. Some of these are charges in Washington and Georgia for trying to change the results of the 2020 race, which he lost to Biden. But one of the cases that followed Trump around the campaign trail led to his conviction. In May, he was found guilty in New York of 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide the fact that he paid hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels, who said she had a sexual encounter with the real estate mogul. "Quit the lawless indictment in Florida," Trump said on his Truth Social platform. "This should only be the first step. Next, all the witch hunts should be stopped right away." Different groups of people had different reactions to the choice. He called it good news for America and the rule of law, and told the government to stop the witch hunt, especially after the failed attempt to kill Trump over the weekend. At the time, Eric Holder was Attorney General under President Barack Obama. He said that throwing out the case was so devoid of legal reasoning as to be simply absurd. The choice was all about delay, and he said that the incompetent Cannon should be fired. If Trump was found guilty on all 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information, he could have spent up to 10 years in jail. He was also charged with lying to the police and plotting to stop the investigation. Trump is said to have kept classified papers, such as records from the Pentagon and the CIA, at his Mar-a-Lago home without locking it and preventing attempts to get them back. According to prosecutors, the material had secret papers about nuclear weapons and defense. Republicans said the case was unfair and biased because in February, a federal prosecutor decided not to press charges against Biden because he kept some secret documents at home after stepping down as vice president in 2017. Biden helped by giving back his papers. The case against former President Donald Trump, based on federal classified papers, was thrown out by Judge Aileen Cannon. Speaker Mike Johnson called it a great relief and a great day for justice. The decision was made on the first day of the Republican National Convention. In his first talk with DailyMail.com after the decision, Speaker Mike Johnson said, "I think it's a great result. It's a great relief to us. Beyond the bounds of what you should be doing," Johnson said of special counsel Jack Smith. "So I'm glad Judge Cannon saw that. What does this mean for the other cases? We'll see, but today is a great day for justice. I agree with him that there is a holy hand at work there. We all do. And he says this himself. He sees that God has given him a chance to bring our country together. And I believe he can bring people together." Johnson said that the Republicans would now take over the House, the Senate, and the White House. "We're looking forward to the outcome of this election, which will give us unified government with the Republican Party running the White House and both houses of Congress. This could also be a moment when the country comes together." Johnson promised that Congress would keep a close eye on the situation to find out what happened at the important Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, in the hours after the event. I called Secretary Mayorkas at the Department of Homeland Security and asked him some very direct questions. At that time, he didn't have all the answers, Johnson said. As congressman, it's our job to keep an eye on things. We're going after that very hard right now, and there will be a lot of changes in that area over the next few weeks.
I just wanted to get your reaction first off to the Trump classified documents case being dismissed this morning. What did you think?
Well, I think it's a great result. It's a great relief to us. I have not yet had an opportunity to read through the opinion. I'm anxious to do that. We've been on Media Row all morning while the news broke. But we've been complaining about the abuses of Jack Smith since all this began. And obviously he was beyond the bounds of what he should be doing. So I'm grateful that Judge Cannon recognized that. And we'll see what effect this has on the other cases. But certainly a great day for justice, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And this is going to be, Trump's first public address since the shooting on Saturday. What do you want to hear from him?
I've been really encouraged to hear some of the ways he's been describing his mindset right now over the last day or so. He recognizes that he came very close to a terrible result in that assassination attempt. And I think he sees the divine hand of providence involved in that, and I do as well. All of us do. He also sees, and he's saying this in his own words, that God has given him a chance, in so many words is what he said, to unify our country. And I think he can be a unifying figure. I think his policies, his vision for the country are right. We're looking forward to this result of this election outcome where we have unified government, meaning we have the Republican Party in charge of the White House and both houses of Congress, but it can also be a unifying moment for the country. So we're looking forward to that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And who do you think is to blame? Have you thought about it for the breakdown in security on Saturday?
We're going to find out. We're already asking pointed questions. I began within hours of the event. I had Secretary Mayorkas on the telephone, Department of Homeland Security, asking him some very pointed questions. He did not have all the answers at that moment. And so our responsibility in Congress is oversight. We're very aggressively pursuing that right now, and you'll see a lot of developments of that over the coming weeks.
2 days before, at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday night, a bullet barely missed the former president's ear during an attempted assassination. As he was rushed off the stage, blood could be seen coming out of the side of his head. Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20, was shot and killed by a counter-sniper just seconds after the shots were fired. The FBI is in charge of looking into how the shooter got so close, only 130 yards, to where a former president and the likely candidate for president was speaking. The Republicans in Congress have started to look into the security failures that led to the horrible attempt on the president's life. They say it was a scary mistake that let the shooter get so close to Trump and fire a hail of bullets that hit him in the ear and killed someone in the rally crowd.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
As a member of the House Appropriations Committee, Representative Ashley Hinson, R. Iowa, also spoke out only about the Trump classified papers case being thrown out. I fully believe the judge made the correct choice in this case, she told DailyMail.com at the Republican National Convention. As an appropriator in Congress, I can say for sure that it's against the law, and it's a real win for justice for Trump. Hinson also said, I think we've all seen the political prosecutions play out all over this country, and these are real things that we Americans are seeing. She thinks that even more cases against the former president will be thrown out after the Supreme Court's important ruling earlier this month about presidential immunity. On the other hand, Democrats weren't so happy with the result. He said on Monday, this shockingly wrong decision goes against long-standing practice and repeated court decisions. It's against the law and needs to be appealed right away. This is more proof that Judge Cannon can't handle this case fairly and needs to be replaced.
Wanted to start off by getting your first reactions to the case that was just tossed out by a judge down in Florida, Trump's classified documents case. What's your takeaway on that?
I think the judge absolutely made the right decision here. I went through her opinion. This is a violation of the appointment clause, and as an appropriator in Congress, it certainly is a violation of the appropriations clause. So I think she absolutely made the right decision for President Trump, and it's a true victory for justice for him. I think we've all seen the political prosecutions play out over this country, and we Americans know exactly what we're seeing happen.
Do you think there'll be any implications for his other federal cases that are still pending before the courts?
Yeah. I know President Trump has appealed, obviously, his outcome in Manhattan. I think that very possibly both that Supreme Court decision about the immunity could have an impact, but I think the judge made the right decision here 100%.
And turning to convention, we're here in Milwaukee. Trump is expected to make his first public remarks this week since the shooting that occurred over the weekend. What are you hoping to see in his message to the American people this week?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so happy that President Trump is okay, and I think we all are. This could have been a very different outcome with just a very small difference on Saturday. And so I'm praying for President Trump and his family and the families of those who were injured and killed. I hope that the president comes out and continues his strength and message of hope for our country. I mean, I think his reaction we saw on the stage is indicative of how people are feeling here. They're hopeful, they're ready to fight, they feel strongly about the future of our country, and I think that's what we're going to see play out on the convention floor over the next couple days. And I think that the American people will find themselves very inspired by President Trump. I know I certainly am.
Thanks for watching this video.